Let's get political reaction now. Will Canadians see the entire video, and what should it reveal? What could it reveal? Should we read anything into the timing, as MPs, of course, are debating the controversial anti-terror bill? Joining me now in Toronto, Paul Calandra, the Parliamentary Secretary to the PM. In Montreal, Rosanne Doré-Lefebvre is the NDP's Deputy Public Safety Critic, and in Charlottetown, Wayne Easter is the Liberal Public Safety Critic. Paul Calandra, Commissioner Paulson said he will be providing a briefing on the video, but he won't say whether it will be shown to MPs. Will the government push to have the entire video aired for all Canadians to see?
As we've said right from the beginning, Evan, this is a decision that the RCMP have to make. I think parliamentarians through the Public Safety Commission have, I believe it was a unanimous vote, suggested that they wanted to see the video. And we've heard that from a lot of Canadians that they want to see the video. But I think by and large we would all agree that at the same time the RCMP have an investigation, and that we don't want to impede or interrupt the RCMP investigation. And as I said, I think it's up to the RCMP to decide on the timing and what parts of the video can be released so as not to interfere with any investigation that might be ongoing.
Is there, well, why don't we know, is there an ongoing investigation that could be interfered with? In other words, why, if they're going to release part of the video now, why not release it all?
I can't answer that, Evan. Honestly, I can't with any degree of certainty. I'm assuming that the RCMP are continuing an investigation into this. There may be other factors that we don't know, other reasons why the RCMP may decide not to show all of the video, or may in fact decide to show the entire video. But that's all part of what the RCMP is doing there, part of their investigation. And I think Canadians understand that it's not up to the government to order a police service like the RCMP to order what they're investigating or how they're investigating. We have to let them do their job and have confidence that they're doing it the right way.
Rosanne Doré-Lefebvre, what's your view? Should the entire video be shown to the public?
That's what we're asking since the beginning. We're hoping that's what we're going to see on Friday. It's rare that I have to agree with Mr. Calandra, but I have to say he's pretty right on this one. There was an investigation on that video, and this video was a big part of the investigation of what happened on October 22nd on Parliament Hill. So we understand that the RCMP needed this piece to follow their investigation. But we're asking them to make the full video public, and I'm also really happy to see that Commissioner Paulson will be with us to discuss that video and see what they found on it. I'll
show our viewers what Commissioner Paulson said about the video. This is last October. Listen to how he described it, just to remind you.
He was quite deliberate, he was quite lucid, and he was quite purposeful in articulating the basis for his actions. And they were in respect broadly to Canada's foreign policy, and also in respect of his religious beliefs.
You know, let me just stay with you, Rosanne Doré-Lefebvre. Does that comment about what the Commissioner saw in the video, does that make you raise questions about what Tom Mulcair said, that the shooting was the act of mental illness rather than terrorism, when he calls it it was deliberate and lucid? What's your view on that?
Because I don't know what exactly is in that video right now, I can't really comment. So I hope we can discuss about this, on this issue with Commissioner Paulson on Friday. But I think they did a good job on that. I think we need to see what exactly is in that video, because the Conservatives are using that video or what happened on October 22nd a lot to promote C-51, their anti-terrorism bill. So we need to make sure we're not putting forward law or tools that we don't really need or that are not helping us on the anti-terrorism issue. And we want to make sure, we want to see what's in the video. I think Canadians also deserve to see what's on that video and what happened on October 22nd on the Hill.
All right, let me go to Wayne Easter. You would like to see, and you've been on this program saying you'd like to see the entire video shown. What questions do you have? Why is it important for everyone to see this video?
Well, I think it is important to show the entire video because if you don't, then suspicions and speculations will arise on why certain parts were left out. And transparency can clear the air here. Speculation is too a dangerous thing. that people speculate why it's not, why the whole thing isn't released. There's been speculations on all sides ever since it became known that this video was available. So I do think it's important we see the whole thing, and I think we can learn things from this video. Whether there's no question it was a terrorist act that happened on Parliament Hill. How much was Biveau inspired by radical elements and terrorist elements? We don't know. It might give us some indication there, and I think it will show us what motivates an individuals to do a heinous act such as killing the soldier and trying to do a lot of harm on Parliament Hill. We may learn from that, and if we learn from that and gain an understanding, I think it's important for Canadians to understand as well, not to be afraid. There's too much of this be afraid stuff happening, but to learn and to be vigilant on preventing these kind of actions happening again, either among the general citizenry or among the
real quick,
political
Mr.
side.
Easter, Madame Doré-Lefebvre said that the government is using this video to bolster support for the controversial anti-terror legislation. Do you believe the timing of the release of this video has anything to do with the critical debates about that bill that will start next week?
No, I don't believe the timing is. This is actually the committee, the RCMP, had their own decisions whether or not they would release the video or not. We took from Paulson that he would, but keep in mind, the release of this video is now on the backs of the Public Safety Committee itself. We passed a motion unanimously that this video be made public, and we have to accept the consequences of that decision and that responsibility.
Finally, Mr. Calandra, evidence is usually released publicly during a trial, but since there won't be a trial in this case because the suspect is dead, how and when will Canadians learn what came out of the RCMP's investigation? And as Terry said, Australia launched a public inquest on January 29th into their December 15th shootings at the Sydney Lint Cafe. We don't know anything about ours.
No. Well, Evan, again, I trust that the RCMP are doing a fulsome investigation, that this forms part of, perhaps forms part of other investigation. I'm just speculating, really. I mean, there have been a number of incidents. The attack on Parliament Hill on the 22nd followed, of course, the tragic attack on Mr. Vincent in Quebec. So we don't know entirely the scope of the RCMP investigation. Look, as a parliamentarian, as somebody who lived through that, I'm sure the media as well, Canadians, they want some answers, and I think they deserve those answers. I know a lot of us are probably very curious to see this. It helps put a bit of closure to it. But at the same time, the emphasis has to be on ensuring that an investigation is done properly, and that if we can garner anything else from this, then we should give the RCMP the opportunity to do that.
And fair enough, I think everyone agrees on that. But so just on that, if you don't know what it is, if we don't know the investigation and we haven't seen the video, the Prime Minister says he hasn't seen the video, why has your government insisted that this Bill C-51 is a response to this, quote, brutal act of terror, as your government has described this, when you don't know the investigation, you haven't seen the video, and you don't know the results of it? Has it been an act, as the NDP have said, have you exploited this act to justify a bill? Is that a fair criticism?
No, I don't think so at all, and I don't want to turn this into a blazing political or partisan debate. Look, October 22nd happened. Mr. Vincent was run down. The RCMP, CSIS, and security services have been following threats. We've seen what's happened in Iraq with ISIS. So we are fully aware of what's happening. We're working with our partners in other jurisdictions, seeing the changes in legislation that they're bringing forward. And it's a response to what we're seeing not only happen in Canada, but globally with respect to terrorism and our continuing efforts to stamp it out, not only here at home, but be part of a global effort to put an end to the scourge of ISIL.
Rosanne Doré-Lefebvre, a quick response from that to that. That's the government's view of that. To your criticism, real quick.
Unfortunately, with the Conservative government, with C-51, they've used what happened on the Hill on 22nd and also what happened on Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu to promote the new laws or the change of the laws that they want to bring with C-51. And that's unfortunate, I think, when we talk about problem of radicalization and terrorism in Canada. We shouldn't do that. It should be nonpartisan, and we shouldn't use those examples to promote a bill.
Mr. East, your last word.
Well, you know, I don't think there's any question. The Prime Minister, I believe, has ramped up the fear factor, which I think is tragic in and of itself. But by the same token, I don't think there's any question that the threat element to Canada is at a higher level than it has been for some time. So we do need additional authorities to keep Canadians safe. But where we are now, this is the reality of the world. Bill C-51 has been introduced. There is a lot of people with a lot of expert opinion need to be heard in that bill. We have to find the balance. We need oversight with it. And the government, for heaven's sakes, the government needs to accept amendments and improvements to that bill so we have the best bill possible in terms of keeping Canadians safe on the one hand, providing oversight on the other, and finding the balance with civil liberties and freedom of expression.
Paul Calandra, Roseanne Doré-Lefebvre, and Wayne Easter, I appreciate your time on this. Thank